The story of the current Batman run is cranking up. We start off in an unknown location with a group of people with their face covered, called the Shadow Board. The members discuss how one of the members named Blake failed to convince Bruce Wayne that accepting military contract is in his best interest. They tell him that the operative he's hired to resolve the issue outside the Wayne Enterprise boardroom has failed. With startled body language, Blake explains that although he failed, the operative is still within the project delivery window, and that even though he failed on the first encounter, there were extenuating circumstances. That's when a man in a military colonel suit slams his hand on the table, saying that they have a Bruce Wayne problem that needs solving now. Another member states that they have reopened bids to the global talent pool, saying that they will flood the zone with operative redundancies and that the market decides. Basically saying, I'll send a bunch of assassins to kill Bruce and may the best one win. So Blake goes to the rooftop of downtown Gotham Pinnacle, where he meets the Ojo. He tells her that the client has decided to reopen the job for general assignment, thanking her for her service, but telling her she's no longer needed. This pisses her off. She states that this is not how professionals operate. He tells her that it's not a guild job. You don't have protections. If the clients change their mind, they change their mind. He tells her he can try to get her a kill fee as courtesy, but she unsheathes her weapon and tells him, flood your streets with assassins for all I care. I'll kill them all, just as I shall Bruce Wayne. You may not be professional, but you hired one, so your courtesy is worthless. She then slices inward with her sword and seizes it, killing Blake, leaving him in a pool of blood. On the far east side in the Iceberg Lounge, the Penguin walks down a flight of stairs, greeting people sitting at a table. He thanks them for coming out, despite all the tragic losses they're dealing with, saying that they've been friends and foes, and that they made a lot of money, and now they find themselves at the will of a madman. He says that they're not partners, but prisoners, and they only let it get this far because the money was too good, too fast. Who could refuse? They're all richer by orders of magnitude for the association with the tourists, but yet poorer for the blood of their loved ones that he spilled. Trapped in his labyrinth of money, he pours a glass of liquor, saying that the Minotaur is remarkable. New thinking, new ideas, new school. The Penguin grins evilly and says if any other of you hard-ass gangsters wants to show him what it means in Gotham when we go old school. Meanwhile, in Harbor View, at the Wayne Experimental Science Building, Dr. Zeller scrolls through her feed, seeing different articles and news clips of how chaotic Gotham City is. But that's when Bruce Wayne opens the door and tells Dr. Zeller that he has a complicated relationship with his son's mother. He explains to her Damian's origin story and how he has to deal with it. He tells her since he's strong with a short fuse, raised in unorthodox traditions, he decided maybe Batman can help him grow in ways that a playboy billionaire couldn't. He tells her he hopes she doesn't leave. He's doing this because in issue number 6, Damian slipped up and called Bruce's father in front of Dr. Zeller, exposing identities in front of her. We then cut to Hartsfield Cemetery, where we see Harvey Bullock, Jim Gordon, and his partner talking with a widow of a falling officer. She says her husband was a good man. She says they all know Savage is responsible for his death. Lonnie told me that Savage wanted him to lie in court to say that Batman shot Eddie, not him. She tells him with a saddened voice, he killed him for it, Jimmy. Vandal Savage killed my husband, but Jim Gordon just stands there and says nothing. She turns her back and walks away. What the hell happened to you two? You used to be real cops. Harvey and Jim stare at each other with stressed facial expressions. We then see Jim Gordon and his partner inside a police cruiser. She turns and asks him if he's okay. Jim Gordon says, he has my daughter, Izzy. Vandal Savage has my daughter. In Alleytown Bullock investigation, Harvey is behind his desk with his back turned. He quickly turns, aiming a firearm, screaming, freeze! Jack Dean and Hudson Gray stand there with their hands raised. Harvey, you gotta hide us, man. Savage knows we got him on tape planting evidence, Jack tells him. He's got the whole GCPD after us, Hudson says. Meanwhile, in Little Tokyo, Batman is perched on a streetlight, watching crime below, listening to conversations with his special glasses. When suddenly the Ojo assassin appears behind him with her weapon ready for action. She takes a slash at him, but Batman is able to jump and glide while aiming his batarang, swinging through the windows of a building full of people partying. The Ojo quickly lands after him, and the two stand off as the people scatter away. They charge at each other, and Batman uses his cape to disarm her of one of her swords. The assassin jumps in the air and swings her remaining swords at Batman, but he blocks it with his gauntlet. He swings his arm and sends the sword flying. The Ojo smashes her palm underneath Batman's chin, then follow up with a roundhouse kick to his face. Batman wraps both of his hands around her neck and begins to activate his electricity. He pulls her closer and says, Anna Gazella is protected, but the assassin is confused by this statement. She asks, who? But that's when red lasers are beamed at both of the two fighting, and the voice behind calls out, drop the woman and get on your knees, hands behind your back. Batman turns to see several officers aiming firearms at him. He says, officers, this is the woman responsible for the Charnel house across the street. I let her go and she does it again. Vandal Savage, watching everything on monitor, screams out to the officers to shoot. Batman lets go of the ojo and throws 2 smoke screens. As the officers open fire, he grabs his cape and jumps out the window. Later on, in bunker number 1, Damian is reading a book and Bruce is working on his suit. They finally put all the pieces together. The Triple Zeros were hired to kill your new girlfriend by Hugo Strange, Damian calls out, but Bruce interrupts him by saying, not my girlfriend. Damian continues, the Ojo was hired to kill Bruce Wayne by person unknown, and they both moved simultaneously while you were on a date. Wasn't a date, Batman adds in, but yes, the Ojo saved me from the Triple Z's for herself. Then, as Damian and Bruce are discussing the book Damian is reading, they hear the doorbell ring. They lock eyes with each other and rush to the door, wondering who could it be, who could bypass camera sensors and warning systems. As they open the door, there stands poised a blonde woman in a sharp suit, suitcase in hand, envelope presented. Mr. Wayne, Master Wayne, my name is Verity Pennyworth, your new butler. And that wraps up issue number 11 of Batman by Matt Fraction. If you enjoyed this full cinematic breakdown of Batman number 11, hit that like button. Subscribe for more comic narration.